So let me just begin with, I mean, when we talk about India, even in any games in Malaysia we watch, I am actually the third generation Indian. So even we watch any news about India and any achievements about Indians, we get very, very excited and we are always very proud about it, including your badminton stars now. So I mean that bond is there very, very strongly. And like what the earlier speaker who is now residing in US, probably he went to US when he was at a very young age. But myself, I was born and bred in Malaysia, and my first trip to India was way back in 1979, if I'm not mistaken. So when I landed there in Chennai airport, and I was actually a bachelor, I traveled with a number of Chinese friends of mine, and we went all over India, except for Calcutta. We went all over India for 40 over days, as backpackers. So that it was a massive experience. And thereafter, of course, my second visit to India was to LIC. That was in 1985 to give a talk about insurance. So that was another great experience. And it's the kind of relationship, the bond, and even in Malaysia, basically one of my planners was formerly from Indian Airlines. He married to a Malaysian and he worked with the Malaysian airline system, and he's now a CFP and a licensed financial planner, one of our top planners in Blueprint. So it's a lot of very strong relationship. So we always say India is the hub of knowledge and humanity. And the Indonesians, they see an Indian, they always say, Bapak ini semuanya orang-orang pintar, which means pintar, the word pintar means, Indians means they are very smart and intelligent for them. So they call them pintar, So that's what Indonesia is all about. So I'm pretty excited when Kanak shared, because my first experience addressing to an Indian audience was in 1985. There was a very small group of people in the LIC. So this opportunity, I felt it's very timely, for me to seize this opportunity when you gave it to me. All right, that's all about my relationship, about India and ourselves here. The next thing, moving on, is about myself. Let me give you a brief background about myself. I come from a life insurance background. I started off in the early 80s after my high school. And I went into the life insurance business because I wanted to make money. So if I'm going to tell you that I went into the business because I want to help people, serve people, it's not true. When I first got in, it was just to make a lot of money because our margins were very, very high at that point of time. So that's how I got into the life insurance business. And way back in 1994, I went into qualifying for the $1 Million Roundtable, and my first $1 Million Roundtable participation was in Dallas, Texas. That was a great experience in 1994, and ever since from then I was qualifying for the award. So I was very excited when I heard about Mayur T. Dalal, top of the table member. So I was pretty excited as well to listen to him during your first session. So thereafter, I qualified every other year, and I'm a life member currently now. And during one of these visits that was held in San Francisco, during one of these visits, I saw the life insurance business. The practice was not just about pushing products and using relationship to sell products and meeting targets and enjoying all the incentives given by the product providers. Well, they will love you when you do very well. When you sell your products, they treat you like a king. So that excitement was all there, but that reached a point of time once, when I became a live member, and when I went there, I saw the industry was moving to a different level. It was evolving to more of advice and more of driving to solutions rather than pushing products, insurance products, so to speak. So there was this booth where they were promoting this. American College had a booth there, and they were promoting this financial planning course. That was a CHFC, Chartered Financial Consultants course. That was the first financial planning course that came to this region. And I was pretty excited when I saw how a plan is actually rolled out, and thereafter how the plan is executed. And it was all focused towards providing solutions to the client rather than placing a product. So I was pretty excited, and I came back. And at that point of time, I understood that this program was only offered in Singapore Insurance Institute. Was not available in Malaysia. And fortunately, I was involved with the Malaysian Insurance Institute. I had two great friends there. One is Kumar. I invited him as well. I hope he's in the program. He was there, and Juan Maison. These are the two people who brought this CHFC program to Malaysia, and then the first batch started enrolling for this program. We took this program, and pretty exciting, close to over 2 years, 13 over modules, every aspect. Of course, the entire tax was American tax. We were doing 401k, so on and so forth. But eventually they customized it, and it became a very, very successful program. And after having taken that program where it involves comprehensive financial planning rather than placing any products, I went into more, I must say I was indoctrinated. And I said no, and I just couldn't sell any products, whether it is mutual fund or life insurance, without a proper plan or advice piece or the statement of advice. I was unable to sell because most of these clients, Asian culture, more so as in India, we work on relationship. It's a lot of emotions. It's not just about using relationship and pushing a product. So when I did this program, I said, no, even if it is an insurance product, we got to do a proper risk assessment, risk evaluation, and then you move on to putting on the right product. So if you're tied with one company, then it is just about providing just one product. So completely, I have to reshuffle the entire approach and my practice. And that's where way back in 2008, at that point of time, my daughter was also studying in Western Australia, Perth. And I used to travel there. I had the opportunity to meet up with some friends, and Blueprint Wealth is still in Western Australia. A great man by the name of David Barofi, an accountant himself, started off financial planning. He is with AMP. So I spent quite a bit of time with him, and eventually we started Blueprint Planning Malaysia way back officially with the license in 2008. There was a lot of things in Malaysia at that point of time. The regulators were not very sure what sort of a license that need to be issued. The practice model was not there. Systems and processes was not there. So everything was more reinventing. So that was the kind of situation when we started way back in 2008. And people were not ready to pay fees for advice. That was one of the main concerns as well, because they were all very used to free advice. And especially if you're in the life insurance business, you have the tendency to give a lot of free advice, and or even in the unit trust business for that matter. So people here were very used to free advice. And when you want to charge fees for advice, it's a challenge. Secondly, to roll out a financial plan, of course, you need to have a lot of financial information, right from their goals, dreams, aspirations, their assets, their liabilities, their cash flows, All these informations are very, very important for you to get a financial plan written. So that was another challenge. So we were going through, and at even some point of time, my wife used to say, "Hey, look, you've been making a lot of money in the insurance business. What the heck are you trying to do? Getting into something where people are not ready." I suppose it could be a similar situation in India as well, because I'm not very sure. I've not done any research, but could be a similar situation because similar things has happened in other parts of the world, like Australia and so on and so forth. So, in a nutshell, this is a little bit of a background about myself and about my practice. And probably I can just move on to